advances, I should like to read a brief announcement. As all of you know, University Hall has been occupied by a self-constituted protest group since shortly after noon today. Several of its occupants were forcibly ejected from their offices and from the buildings, while others left either voluntarily or under threat. The last of us to leave, Dean Glimp of the college, Dean Elder of the graduate school, and I made our exit at approximately 12:45. We did so only after I had formally warned the intruders that they were both interfering with the work of this faculty and violating the personal rights of all the men and women who had been forced out of their offices. We also, before leaving, asked several apparent spokesmen for the group what it was they wished to discuss, to which the reply was nothing. This afternoon there have been emergency meetings of the Administrative Board of Harvard College with officers of Radcliffe College present, of the Masters of the Houses, and of the President's Executive Council, which comprises, among others, the deans of the several faculties and President Bunning. On the basis of these deliberations, I have now to make several announcements. One, although we are aware that many of those now assembled here do not support the seizure of University Hall, it seems best at this time, in order to minimize the risk of any spread of violence, to close the yard until further notice. Induce those now present in the yard to leave until they wish to do so. At 4:30, however, all gates will be locked save the one on Quincy Street by Lamont Library opposite the Freshman Union. 3. Anyone now in the yard who leaves it after 4:30 will find that gate guarded but available for egress. 4. In addition, freshmen returning from the Union after meals will be allowed to re-enter by the same gate upon showing proper identification. 5. Finally, I must repeat in the most formal terms the injunction to all persons now in University Hall to depart therefrom so that the building may be restored to its proper uses. Anyone failing to observe this warning within 15 minutes will be subject to prosecution for criminal trespass.
Morning at 5 o'clock at 5:30, whenever it was. I was in the steps of University Hall facing Matthews towards Harvard Square. First thing we did before we sort of got in the blankets and settled in for the night was agree on what we do when the bus came. There were two opinions. One bunch of kids didn't want to be on the steps, in other words, didn't want to be liable to arrest for criminal trespass. So they agreed to stand and link arms on the pavement, right in front of the steps. Then another bunch of kids thought that this is lousy tactics, that you could better defend the door by being close to the door, and they didn't care about getting arrested. And they were going to, when the bus came, to stand and link arms right in front of the door. I was the second bunch, right in front of the door. When the bus finally did come, we were about 3 rows thick in front of the door. Well, after we agreed, food coming, it's a great bunch of people. Yesterday afternoon around 4 o'clock, on the second floor of University Hall, where the main meeting was, 300 people were there discussing. Wastebasket were passed around to collect money for the food and for sanitation, for everything else they needed. And they probably collected around $300, with everyone pitching in a buck. Anyway, food was passed out all last night. We got a guitar. Lots of freshmen brought their blankets in from the dormitories. It was sort of fun. It was a nice night. The cops sort of came with us dawn. We had a glimpse all night of more and more people, more and more riot police gathering at the Harvard firehouse, just past the underpass. And around 5 o'clock, I guess, came news that the bus was coming pretty soon. Word came, riot police, Cambridge police, Boston police were gathering behind Mem Hall. So we just reviewed what we were going to do. We realized that we were going to get thrown away from protecting the door pretty quickly. So we decided after we were thrown away to march around the building, chanting, and just trying to attract as much attention as possible from the yard, because it was 5 o'clock and a good number of the kids were asleep. And the chief thing we want to do this is get kids involved before. Well, the bus came around 5:30. We were scared shit. They pulled clubbed everyone away from the front of the steps, then just sort of peeled the kids away from the steps. The kids' arms were locked, so they just sort of, I was like out in the middle of a row of kids with locked arms. They just sort of grabbed us at either end and just pulled us away, peeled us away, pushing us and clubbing us down the stairs, throwing us down the stairs. I was over to Stillman Infirmary afterwards. One girl got thrown down the stairs, just thrown, and really hurt her back bad.